Hello, my name is Alex and I am the marketing manager at PortX Logistics. Today we are going to talk about the role our Chief Heart Officer plays at PortX. Let's start with introductions. Brian is the founder of PortX Logistics, who believes in the full engagement of his leadership team. He has the ultimate entrepreneurial spirit and encourages great culture, service, and tech throughout the entire organization. Dr. Deanne Crest is our Chief Heart Officer at PortX Logistics, and she serves as the heart of our organization. She believes in expressing empathy and listening with curiosity. She touches every team member on a regular basis, helping them to discover who they are as leaders. As our Chief Heart Officer, Deanne helps us fulfill our success factors and execute our plan and vision. Having Deanne as part of the PortX team allows us to accomplish our goals in a heartfelt way while still holding people accountable. Now let's get into the conversation. I'm going to ask Deanne and Brian a couple questions, and you will learn more about our Chief Heart Officer position. What is the role of a Chief Heart Officer, and what impact do they have on the success of the people?
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the introduction. For me, being the Chief Heart Officer is simply having heart and expressing empathy and kindness towards each and every individual. When Brian hired me, I had some reservation about how I was going to coach his team. And by Brian being open and willing to take a more engaged approach allowed me to instill my philosophy, which incorporates mind, body, and spirit, meaning compassion, kindness, listening, and supporting the people from a place of heart and heart-centeredness.
Sorry. So the reason that I got Deanne involved was actually one of our team members and partners, Jill Rice, said that she needed help. And part of the help that she needed was a coach and a professional coach and a personal coach. And the first person I thought of was Deanne. And when Deanne started, the main thing was to give our team support, to provide empathy for them, to give them some guidance. But the main thing was to help fulfill our success factors. And many of those success factors are on the wall behind Deanne. But build a team and family atmosphere. It's always day one. Why not us? All of those things that we tried to live by every day, Deanne became that vehicle that helped us execute on all of those success factors.
Mm-hmm. And Brian and I typically talk on a daily basis. And a lot of what we talk about is how do we make people the best people they can be? How do we help them to develop into the best human beings? And I start by helping people identify their strengths, right? People forget what their strengths are along the way. They kind of get caught up in these stories of life that take them off their path of believing in who they are. So the way that I coach is I first start with people understanding their strengths and really engaging in those strengths. And the strengths allow them to understand how they make decisions, their thought process, their beliefs. And from the strengths, we move into telling their personal stories. What is your personal life story that could potentially be getting in your way of being an effective leader? And what I have found in my own personal experience is that we have these internal critics and internal chatter, internal noise that gets in our way of believing in who we are. So what I help people to do on a regular basis is break those false assumptions and self-limiting beliefs so that they can truly become a better version of themselves. The way that Brian and I work together collaboratively is supporting people and being human. So I was thinking about this earlier today in that typical organizations will say that they want to develop their leaders, but it's almost in a judgmental way. Like, we want you to do this so you can be successful in that. That's not how we do it here at PortX. We do it in a very empathetic and kind way and with a sense of curiosity. Like, help us understand what's going on for you, what's going on in your life, what's going on in work, like where are you stuck at work potentially? And let's talk about that. So I believe, and Brian, maybe you have a thought on this, that people don't have fear or intimidation of the leadership, but my role is to help and support them in just being better. I don't judge them if they fail or they had some business loss. I say, okay, well, what do we learn from that experience and how do we gain something new from that outcome?
Yeah, or even a personal thing that went wrong for them, or that was not 100% perfect, or they have an issue with their home life, or whatever it is. We believe in people first, right? So if we're developing great people, we're going to be able to allow those people to deliver our vision and our message to our customers. And one of the greatest things for me is to go see a customer, a vendor, a truck driver, whoever it is that says, my God, you guys are the coolest company out there. When are you going to open an office here? And when can I come work for you? And that's the culture that we want to develop, is, that kindness, that empathy, that coolness. The things that we do are really astonishing. And whether it be that service to our clients, or whether it be what we do for our people internally, we want that wow. That's part of our success factors, is we want to wow people. And I think we do that every day through living those success factors.
Yeah. The other thing I want to add to that, Brian, is going back to revisiting the strategic plan. And you always have, your philosophy is have a plan, be organized, and execute on your plan, right? And so there's a specific plan within PortX that you and I together, and myself with the leadership team and myself with the rest of the team, we're always executing on each facet of that plan. But from a people-centered, heart-centered, in my role, place. And not, so you need to have that foundation, I guess is what I'm saying, and create the foundation for the people so that you can build upon that.
And I think we created that foundation very strong out of the gates. What our 3 pillars were at PortX. Culture was number 1, service and our SOPs to our customer was number 2, and implementing state-of-the-art technology was number 3. And we've really done a great job at implementing all 3 components, and that culture is really important. And the thing that makes Dion different in her role versus other people that have done similar roles is execution. We don't have a meeting in a conference room once a week and say, okay, great, go team, and then come back the next week and have the same crap all over again, and nobody's done anything. We actually live it and breathe it on a daily basis. So, whether it be myself or whether it be Dion, I would suspect that every single day, her and I have touched everybody throughout the organization. And I think that's a really big difference and a really big differentiator versus those people that have this thought of, oh, well, we'll get an executive coach or we'll get this person and it's all going to be great and we're going to change the world. But they try to change the world from a conference room 1 hour a week, and it's just simply not possible. So we've kind of ripped down that old belief and done it our own way. And I think that's why it's been so successful. And that's why in May of 2020, we're going to break a record for revenue, number of shipments, and profitability during the middle of a pandemic.
Well, you guys always use, PortX, the team always uses the sports analogies. And I coach from the sidelines, right? So you brought me in this year to be in the office X number of hours per week to coach real time. So as in a sports team, you don't train and then stop training, right? You don't play the game and then you don't stop coaching, right? It's this evolution that keeps happening over and over and over again. And that's what we do with the PortX team, right? We continuously coach them, I give them feedback during the course of their workday. We pull people out. We talk about communication, right? If there's some dynamic, we go in the conference room and say, okay, let's have a conversation about that. Something's happening out on the floor. Okay, what's happening? Let's coach around this. Let me give you some feedback about that. So it's all real time, which that's the part that's different for me in the role with PortX, for sure. The other thing that I want to bring up is we talk a lot about grit and perseverance. And so Brian and I have talked about grit, we talk about collaboration, we talk about supporting the people. I think because we've been able to engage everyone on such a deep level, people are willing to get gritty and people are really willing to dig in and go the extra mile because they know they've been because they are part of the PortX family. So Brian has a personal story where you shared that you put PortX together and chose people to be part of your family, and that's a real engagement of each and every individual to be part of something bigger than themselves. And when you get people in on that level, they'll go above and beyond, and as one of the leaders says here, Pat busts through walls, which is really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. No, I think everybody is definitely bought in because of the openness, the communication, the heartfelt atmosphere that we have, the core values. But what you're doing that makes it so much different than just the chief heart officer, which is really cool that we've got that. You know, you've developed the relationship, and because we have such an open, honest, great culture, is we can hold people accountable. Yeah. And if that's updating our technology or upholding our SOPs or reaching out to our clients, we're executing because the people are willing to do things for us because we're doing things for them. So it's a completely symbiotic relationship. And, you know, my goal is, like, it's more important for me to give things to the people. And I always talk to Dion, we're not here just to move freight. We're here to change lives. Yeah. So whether it be Alex or Dion or Pat or anybody on our team, we want them to have opportunities for a lifetime. And whether they stay with PortX for a lifetime or we just help them along their path, we understand that if we create those relationships and develop those people, we win in the long run.
Thank you for watching. We're going to be having ongoing discussions about the role of a chief heart officer and the success in business. We would love for you to join us. So please subscribe, like, share, or make a comment here. These ongoing conversations are going to be about why a chief heart officer is becoming an essential role in organizations for developing your people, success of organizations, and changing people's lives. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.